Hey everyone, welcome to this video. Yesterday was the 22nd of August and it was Warlord's Open Day, and I went down and I looked around and it was pretty much the same as last year, so I'll put a link in the description to last year so you can see what the tour was like. I didn't film any of the tour this year because I said it was the same as last year. Whereas I went on the tour last year, I didn't get much chance to sit into any of the cinemas. This year I did. So the first one was John Stallard and Rick Priestley. That was on at 11 till 12. So I sat in that and listened to them talk. It was really, really entertaining. Didn't get much out of them about Warlord, any future releases as such. John was very tight-lipped on that. We did get one 10-minute conversation on Rick Priestley's new hobby of ordering old miniatures off eBay and then stripping them in Dettel, cataloguing them and storing them away in really useful boxes. And he says he's got about 20 really useful boxes full of these miniatures. He said he has painted some of them, but yeah, so he went a 10-minute long conversation on stripping miniatures with Dettel. Yes, Dettel does work. I have used it as well. But yeah, it was really funny. There was a discussion. I did mention about the new Epic Zulu. I was saying I think it's going to do really well, and I asked what would the next one be after that, and they were a bit tight-lipped. I did mention about Epic Hail Caesar, and Rick mentioned that they could do sort of an expansion of the current range, so you can add some pikemen, etc. on another sprue, which would then increase the range. And I did then mention, what about doing an Epic Battles Thermopylae? John Stallard never said a thing without that, but Rick said, yeah, it's possible because it'd only be a couple of sprues. You only need one sprue for the Spartans and one or two sprues for the Persians, because I say John didn't say anything about that, it was just Rick. So I don't know whether maybe Epic Thermopylae is on the cards. I forget, you heard it here first if it is. The next one was, they were talking about bolt action. That was a seminar between 1 and 2 p.m. and this went on, and he was talking about the next books after. So we've got the Armies of France coming, which, as you know, is going to be quite a few. Now, the way they was talking, it was quite interesting because they mentioned the Armies of France. So you're going to have the French early war, and you're going to have Vichy French, and then you have French mid-war, which apparently use a lot of British kit, and French late war, which use a lot of American kit. Now, I don't know whether you'd be able to proxy English, like Commonwealth miniatures for mid-war and US miniatures for late war. I don't know. I say, I don't know. I've not seen nothing on the Armies of France book, but that's part of the French book. They actually mentioned that it's going to contain French Foreign Legion. One guy did ask what will the play style be, and it didn't really get an answer. So I don't know whether they're going to be elite or not, because French Foreign Legion, most of them were conscripts anyway, or ex-prisoners or people running away. So I don't know what the play style will be like, but they're going to have the white caps with the little things down the back and all that. I think I've got a picture in my collection. I'll just put it up now if you have. So the next one they covered was armies of Europe. Now this is sort of minor nations as such that are not covered by the other books. So you had Serbia, Croatia, Poland, Hungary and partisans. Now they didn't go into much detail about what new units that were coming out. What they did say was that there's a new Polish sprue that's being done, which will contain 9 figures, and 2 of those figures can be mounted officers or foot officers, or they can be made as just mounted troops. And they're also talking that there's a possibility that you might be able to do a complete mounted list for Poland. So you can take mounted troops as your troop choice, and you can also have officers mounted, so you can do a cavalry charge. Now apparently they are going to do lances. There's going to be a lance option for the mounted troops, although you did say that you don't think that in World War II they actually used the lance, but the lance option is going to be there if you want to give them more lances. Why they would ride across a battlefield with lances when they'll just get shot to pieces by machine gun fire is beyond me. But anyway, that's what they did for that. So after that, we went on a tour. We had our tour slot was 2:35, so we went on the tour round, and that actually lasted till 4 p.m. So we missed the seminar on the Conflict 47, which is a shame, as I don't know. I mean, I know about the Armies of America, which is coming out now. I did get some pictures of some of the new Japanese, especially the new Japanese Walker, which I really like, with a massive big sword. Reminds me of Elder Wraith Knight. So yeah, big thing like that. Again, I'll shove a picture up now. And then after that, so next up, I'll throw the pictures up now and I'll just waffle, because so what I'll do now is I'll put up pictures from how we went round on the tour. I say I'm not putting the pictures up of the manufacturing and all that, because that was covered in the last year's one. We went into the design studio and I took some pictures of the models, the new models that they were doing, which there was sort of grey plastic ones left on various desks. So sneaky camera, take pictures. What they don't know, they won't know, will they? So you can have a look at them. I say I'll put them up, put a little bit of a tune behind it, and you can have a look at the pictures and see if you can recognise anything that you like the look of. Okay, so after we went into the design studio, we finished the tour. We then went out and they had a marquee outside, which they have every year, which has sort of tables with game displays in there. So there was Skytrex at the store there. There was various tables there, and in there was Epic Battles of Zulu. Awesome. It absolutely looked awesome. I'm just so disappointed that it's so expensive. They had the Rorke's Drift set up with all the individual characters inside the compound, and at the side of the tables there they had all the Zulus based up, and it looks great. I think it's going to play great. There was a copy of the new Zulu, Black Powder Zulu book, and I asked the guy, is there any scenarios in there? And he flipped through it, and there was quite a few. There was 6 or 7 scenarios in there, so they're not just covering the raw. There's also a booklet which will accompany the box, and that will have specific scenarios. Then in the box itself there is a Rorke's Drift like scenario leaflet, like an instruction leaflet. You'll get, if you get any of the starter sets, you normally get this little booklet in there, normally 12-15 pages with assembly, painting, and then at the back it normally has 3 like beginners scenarios. I would imagine it's going to be something like that. There's going to be one of them in the Rorke's Drift box and one in the Zandelwana box. But again, and then again, I said there's 6 or 7 scenarios in the main rulebook. So that's probably different battles that took place during the Zulu War that are not as famous as obviously in Zandelwana and Rorke's Drift, because they're famous because of what's happened. I think most of the other battles were the other way around. It was British beating Zulus. So yeah, another thing that they're doing is apparently John has actually been over to Zululand, and he's seen the place and had a look around, and it was quite moving for him. So what they've done is they've decided that they are linking up with a charity to help the area, because the area is really poor. So a percentage of the money from any of the Zulu stuff sold is going to go to help them, which I thought was a nice touch. And I think if you go on the website and pre-order it, there is a line on there saying that they're going to helping the charity out with sales of this set. So that was pretty much it. That was the end. After we'd done a tour and looked around all the marquees and that, it was time to go, and it was a thoroughly enjoyable day. I do recommend it if you get a chance to go. I believe the tickets sold out this year in 2 weeks, so there is limited space. So if you want to go, make sure you get your tickets early next year. We did get one of these each, which was like a goodie bag, and inside the bag you got a couple of free screws, their special sort of Games Day figure, which was I think it went to everybody in an email. It's a Soviet with the flag, and also there's a guy with a, looks like a Chindits guy with a LMG as well, or some sort of machine gun. Got a handful of badges, various ones, different ones, halt action. Got to stick on your bags. Yeah, so that's for them. And the obligatory Games Day dog tags. So I have the right way up, doesn't it? Warlord Games, Openday, 22nd of the 8th, 2026. Yeah, so it was a thoroughly enjoyable day, and as I say, I highly recommend it. If you get a chance to go, it doesn't disappoint, especially if you've not been before. Looking around how they make the miniatures with the spin casting metals and the resin pouring, and then you've got the cryo sale cast machines. It's really worth having a look. Yeah, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good day, whatever you're up to. Hopefully it's something wargaming related, because hey, you're watching this, you must be into wargaming. See you all next time. Bye.